This tutorial will show you how you can view, create, and edit IPPs in Dossier. To access Dossier, you need to log into PowerSchool, whether you're a Power teacher or a PowerSchool admin. Then you're going to click on the application shelf and choose Dossier. So let's have a look at that in action. So here I am in PowerSchool. I'm going to click over here on the application shelf and I'm going to launch Dossier. Please note, Dossier is a web application and can run on any modern web browser. On the Dossier main page, you'll see different modules. Today we're going to look just at the Inclusive Education one. This is where we create our IPPs. So I'm going to click on Inclusive Education and it'll take me to a home screen. At the top here I have a few different controls, but in order to create my IPPs, I'm going to click on Student. Please note that as a classroom teacher, you'll only see the students assigned to you. You can simply filter through different codes, through different sections, or simply search for a name. And that's the fastest way to find a particular student. Once you've searched for a student, just double-click on their name and you'll get into the part where you can edit and work with their IPP. You're first taken to an overview screen with just demographic information. Now to get to the IPP, you'll simply click up here where it says IPP in the school year. Initially, you're going to see some summary information. That's going to look fairly empty right now. It may be pulling a little bit of stuff from PowerSchool, but once we complete the IPP, more of that will show up in here. So I'm going to quickly go through some of these boxes on the side. Educational information. This once again will be completed by your LSF. Please read over it to make sure it is accurate or if there's anything else that is missed, but this will be completed by your LSF. Testing and assessment history, yes, also have a look at it, but will be completed by your LSF. Classroom-based measures, we are going to kind of skip over that right now as we're creating a different module called the Student Learner Profile, and that's where you'll be able to enter things like your Fountas and Pinnell, and it'll get pulled over. At the moment, you can manually add those here if you like, but please note they do not currently print out on the IPP. So the first area for the teachers to look at is areas of strength and areas to develop. A couple of pointers is try to have more areas of strength than areas to develop. And there's also here a student perspective and a parent perspective documents that are linked. And at any time too, you can click over here on the Alberta Education Inclusive Ed Library, or there's a help menu with some other supporting documents. So now in order to add these, so if communication is something that we need to develop, I'm going to click here and you'll notice that two boxes appear on the screen, a green and a red. For the areas to develop, they go to the red. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to now add something to my areas of strength. So I'm going to say social skills, strength, and emotional regulation, I will say strength. Now on these, if I really wanted to add a comment, I can simply click right on the word and they can put a small comment. Please keep these very short. This isn't meant to be a detailed area, it's just an overview of the student. And if you choose not to put any comment, that's absolutely fine as well. Now I'm going to go into the next area, school and community services. This is likely going to be filled in by your LSF, but again, check over it and make sure that it's accurate. Now the next part for teachers is the accommodations checklist. The accommodations checklist has a variety of classroom accommodations as well as exam, diploma, and PAT accommodations and specialized equipment such as a switch access or AAC. So in order to select these, you're simply going to go in and you're going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to use that one. I'm going to have those three, and go through the list and simply select the ones that are relevant for your student. And if there's something not in the list that you need, simply click down here and you'll be able to add it in. Once you have selected your accommodations, it is important to scroll down to the bottom and click on Save. So it tells me my update was successful. So I'm simply going to come back to the sidebar menu, and the next thing we're going to look at is goals and objectives. So you may be wondering, Do all students need goals and objectives in their IPPs? And the answer to that is no. Just as before, we had template A for mild moderates, template B for more severe, and template C for gifted or talented, we have the same in here. Goals and objectives can be added here, and if you have a student who does not require goals and objectives, you're simply going to skip that section and move straight on to instructional strategies A or instructional strategies C. And again, remember, A is more mild moderate and C is for gifted and talented. But I'm going to show you how you will add a goal. So step 1 is just look up here. We have a little red announcement. It says the student has academic selected as an area of support. That is something our LSF would have included. So you need to make sure you have at least one goal for that area. So I'm just going to click on Add New Goal. I go to the area of support, academic, and then I'm going to simply type in my goal here. You may want to number these if you like, or write goal 1. And so these are very general. These are your long-term ones. Again, if you have a particular order in which you want it to display, you could number this number 1 or 2 or whichever. And I'm just going to press save. Now, once I have the long-term goal written, I can then add a short-term goal. So I'm going to click on the drop-down menu, and now I'm going to add the short-term objective descriptions. So I may have several short-term goals related to this one long-term goal. So I'm just going to show you how to add one. So you simply click Add New Objective, and I'm prompted with these boxes. The goal description, I'll write the goal in the first box. I will put a little blurb about learning strategies. Again, you might just say something like small group intervention or C instructional strategies A, which is the part you're going to fill in next. And then there's also assessment procedures. Again, if none of these are relevant, you do not have to select any, but I might say teacher observation and checklist. And then I'll just close that box. And then I can also click on Save here. If I wanted to add another short-term objective, I would simply repeat the process by clicking on Add New Objective. Add New Goal will allow me to add a new long-term goal. While we're looking at goals and objectives, I want to show you how to do progress comments on this section. So now that I have this written here and completed, I have a drop-down menu. So I'm going to click on the drop-down menu. And underneath our drop-down menu, you're going to see the learning strategies, assessment procedures, but now you'll see add a comment. So we need to add a comment, and we can give some specific feedback. Completed 3 times with teacher guidance. Okay. And then over here where it says current progress, I have a scale here, not yet started, emerging, progression, complete. So I'm going to put emerging here, and I'm going to put on the green check mark. And you'll see our comment has now been recorded, and it shows who has made that comment as well. And I could continue the next time I go in and review, I can add an additional comment as well. So that is how you complete the goals and objectives section. The next section for teachers to complete is instructional strategies A or instructional strategies C, depending upon the student. Again, A we would usually use for mild and moderate, and C we would use for gifted and talented. So I'm just going to look at A, but A and C both work the same way. So I'm going to open up instructional strategies A. So I have a personalized strategy. If you have something off the top of your head that you use all the time with your students, simply type it in here. But what you can also do is look through these specific strategies that are here. So now we have different categories. So you'll see we have emerging literacy. So that would be for somebody who is just in the initial phases of literacy. It may be our early learning children, but it could also be somebody at an older grade with significant literacy delays. And same thing with numeracy and emerging numeracy. So when you go in here, you're simply going to click on the arrow to expand, and then you can select any of these outcomes. So I'm just going to select, click on one of them. You'll notice here it says all subjects, but where it says select subject areas, you simply click on that and choose all subjects. And then Here under effectiveness, you can choose in progress or whatever descriptor suits your needs most appropriately. You'll notice how 1 is selected, so it just says 1 in the brackets. I can then collapse that and go down and look at something. If I needed another instructional support for literacy, I would go in here, and again, I can choose my areas and my outcomes and in progress. Okay, now anytime as well that you thinking, okay, I'm going to add something for thinking skills and executive functioning, but it isn't there. And so there's always add new item. So you can simply click on that and type in your strategy, subject areas, and any other comments. I'm just going to click on cancel for that. So once again, you can simply click your instructional strategies, and then when you're finished, you're going to need to scroll all the way down to the bottom and make sure you click on Save, either at the bottom or the green Save at the top. And now we'll see that that category was successfully created. Last but not least, we're going to look at the comments section. And here in the comments, this might be something that you add throughout the term if appropriate. And these comments aren't necessarily related to the progress of the goals because you have a different spot to input those. But these may be, maybe it's just a comment about attendance or a comment about a phone call home. And so in order to add a comment, you simply click on that box to enter it, to type it in. And you'll notice there's this private. Private just means that it's not going to show up on the printed IPP. Your LSF and your school principal would still be able to view these comments here. They will only be, the private means that they are not published on the printed IPP. And so then I would just simply save that or cancel it. At the end of the year, you'll notice there is a spot here for year-end review and transition plan. And you'll simply type in these boxes your information and click on Save. And then again, there's attached student documentation. This may be completed more often by your LSF, but they might upload different assessments or things that have been completed. So now you're probably wondering, well, what in the world does this IPP look like? So you're simply going to go up here and click on Print Report and Student IPP Report. Your IPP will download. I have my download set to automatically download and then open. And so here it is. And then from there, I would simply print it out. So that is how you use Dossier to create, edit, and print IPPs.